had a heart so black they called it pitch. A soul so dark no light exists, devoid of any empathy. I was the epitome of hurt and anger, pain and frustration. The machinations in my mind told me I was worth nothing. So I felt nothing. The definition of fear, as defined by Webster's dictionary, is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. So, just so you guys know, I began this discussion quoting lines from a spoken word piece I had written while in my 27th year of a 15-year to life sentence. I was 18. I was living a life out there on the streets of recklessness, mindlessness, hopelessness. I thought my life didn't matter. So in that poem, in it, I'm talking about the consequences that I just talked about growing up in an environment where the difference between life and death was literally the space of a breath. That understanding that my life was so inconsequential that with the flap of a butterfly's wings, a hurricane could be created that would blow me out of existence. So I lived my life as if tomorrow didn't exist. Imagine 10 years old being fed the narrative that you mean nothing, less than nothing, but are expected and told in the exact same breath to persevere, do the best you can, and you too can be president. Really? What was I supposed to believe? But the evidence that I found supported the facts that I was meaningless. So I would ask myself, why continue to try if it meant failure anyway? You know, I was afraid to live if it meant dying anyway. So fuck it. I embrace the darkness to come. I once heard somebody say that fear is the absence of hope with no opportunity for a different outcome. Many of us, and I know all you guys that have been in prison, you use those I statements, but bear with me. Many of us proceed through our days carrying small bits of fear in our souls, like bits of pennies and pocket change. By themselves, they're worthless. But added together, those little fears are the wealth we use to purchase the very fear that weighs us down and prevents us from stepping out into that light. I had a heart so dark, they called it pitch. We're told to conquer our fears, but what does that really mean? To conquer and overcome our fears, big or small, does not mean to vanquish them to the point of they disappear or they fade from existence. Instead, it means that we should embrace what holds us captive and allow it to be a source of inspiration to continue on, to strive on, in spite of the evidence to the contrary. Fear, allowed to run wild, paralyzes, constricts, becomes all-powerful and consuming to the point one gives into the fear and it dictates their every step. I had a fear of death, that I would never live, that I would live and end this life and be forgotten, be nothing, inconsequential to the universe and anything in it. That my vibration, once gone, meant silence. So I embraced it out of fear. Admit it or not, at some point in every person's life, we all succumb to that fear. It's not so much the succumbing of the fear, it's how we have dealt with that moment that has dictated the direction we would go. In many cases, though one may have overcome the initial fear, fragments of it break off and linger and influence our every thought. So it's not for us to conquer fear, but to embrace it, adapt to the changing winds of the hurricane, and bend to that breeze created by the butterfly's wings. A master is not someone who can overpower their foe, but can shape the opposing force to their own designs, change that which isn't into something that is. When used correctly, fear can inspire, motivate, encourage, even heal. So many of us in this room had that fear that we would never see the outside of a prison cell ever again. And we use that fear to propel us to where we are right now. What did Franklin Roosevelt have to say about this? He said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." I agree, that's probably an oversimplification, but it has some good bones, you know? Sounds good. We fear the unknown only for as long as we do not know it. So why do we fear it instead of embracing it? The opposite of fear is knowledge, and that brings with it compassion, empathy, understanding. Oh, and also love, not just for ourselves, but for others in the world around us. Have I conquered all my fears? No. Not even close. I've been released after 30 years from my life sentence, and each new day, challenges arise. Even as I share this moment with you all today, I have my own fears, and am feeling the pain that weighs upon my soul. But also as I speak, I search for ways to bend to the pain and find the common ground of understanding with the fear so that I can tame it and use its power to my own design. So if you will indulge me for a moment, if you don't mind, I'd like to rephrase what I'd said in the beginning. They tried to say I had a heart so dark, they called it pitch. But here's the switch. My reality is a soul so free. I am the epitome of love and empathy. I am made of substance, grand and infusing. And I, and we, we're worth something.